Yeah, that's right. Welcome in, welcome back, folks, to another Spring Football Friday edition of the Always Irish Show. Always good to have you here. Thanks a lot for being here. Listen, you have no idea how much I appreciate all the people that are messed up like me, and it doesn't matter if it's the off season or what's going on. We're all going to be here for Notre Dame. Like, it's a beautiful thing. It doesn't matter what time of year. It doesn't matter any of that. We're all going to be here every week. I love it. I love all the people like me that just can't get enough. Also, happy opening day for those of you that indulge Major League Baseball. I believe yesterday officially, but I didn't have a show. So if you enjoy baseball at all, congratulations to you. Listen, it's a pretty good time of the year for sports. You got Notre Dame has spring football going on, so that gives you a little bit of football feel. You got March Madness getting down to the nitty gritty, so you got that going on. You have baseball starting for those that enjoy. Listen, for me, it's good to slow the pace down a little bit and slow my heart rate down a little bit with baseball, just because of the nature of the sport and the slow grind that it is. And then if this matters to you at all, it's my favorite week of sport. The entire calendar is the Masters coming up. There's just nothing like it. It's pure magic. I can't get enough. It offends me. Every single shot played in that tournament by every single person isn't aired. I yell about it every year. It's just magic. So enjoy your sports, people. It should be a little escape from the real world for all of us. All right. So let's do my introduction, a couple announcements, roll call. I got a feeling I'm going to get mad today. There's a couple things that have come up. I got a feeling I'm going to be mad. And I don't want to do that in the spring. It should be lay low. There's a couple things I got to go over. And here's the other thing too. I'm open to the idea that I'm off base on a couple of the things I'm going to talk about today. I'm open to that. I'm open to it. So when I go over this stuff, you guys tell me you're off on this, or you're overdoing it, or you're coming off as a Freeman homer, whatever it is, let me know. But we have some intellectual stuff we got to go over here today that's been bugging me that's come up. Some of you might know what I'm talking about. If you were on Twitter last night, you probably know. And some of the names in here that I could see that have commented, I know they're on Twitter. I wonder if anybody knows where I'm going with this. But there's something I got to address and ask if it's fair or not, and how it's fair or not. That being said, thanks for being here. You could find the program on YouTube. Hit subscribe if you haven't yet. I don't know why you wouldn't have done it by now. Most of you are here every day or a lot of days. I would hope you would have subscribed by now. Hit thumbs up. That really helps me out a lot. They see that, put the show out in front of more people. They say, oh, people like it. Let's show it to more people. Notifications on, that way you're alerted every time a new episode pops and drops. Twitter, search bar, Always Irish Rat. Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want me. You could give me a call in line. 312-900-8815. You tell Johnny all you heard and seen. Fighting Irish Wire. Every day you type it in, and then you read about Notre Dame sports. It's beautiful. It's amazing how it works. You type it in, and then the information comes up, and then you read it, and you learn more about Notre Dame. Okay? All right. That being said, let's go over a couple chats here. Let's see who's here and get me caught up on the chat thread. Cousin Luke, I am going to star what you said and come back to it in a minute. We're going to get there because it's one of the things that I got to go over and ask whether it's fair or not. And I was wondering, who's going to bring this up? Because I know somebody was going to bring it up today. And Cousin Luke, right when I logged in, bam, there it is. We'll get to you, Cousin Luke. Nick Dean, it's good to be seen. Happy about the new commit, but I'm ready to see Snead and Collie play a lot on defense this year. Here's what I want. Tell me if this is asking for too much with this particular linebacker situation and discussion. You tell me if I'm asking for too much. Okay. Is there no way we just have a good blend? Can we just have a good blend of upper class guys that have been around, that know where they're supposed to be, and you can kind of rely on them, but they're not the most athletic or fast guys that are going to close space? Like Bertrand's a perfect example. People complain about him a lot, but when you ask the X's and O's experts, they say he's where he needs to be 85, 95% of the time. You're only bringing up the one play he misses or goes the wrong way or whiffs on or doesn't shed the block or whatever it might be. So I see these like competing arguments of play the young guys, play the young guys. I want Collie and Snead to get more time. They are more athletic. I think they probably have a higher ceiling of what they could become because of that inherent athleticism. But then it's like, well, they're not consistent. They're not always where they have to be. It takes them longer to read what's going on and diagnose, and that's a liability. Like, then you get into that kind of discussion. Is there no way to have a blend here? A mixture of those guys who know where they're going to be and whatever, and can kind of keep things where they lined up, and then have the younger, fast guys making those plays. I don't know. Is there no way to have both? Why do I got to choose older guys who know where they're going to be, but they're not as athletic, or younger guys that are super athletic, but maybe not know where to be? There's got to be a reasonable middle ground to put on the field the best of both worlds. Is there not? Is there not? So the linebacker thing is just going to be a thing up until it's not. Like, that's what I've decided and learned. The linebacker debate and discussion, it's not going away till we see the unit play good and get home a lot more, shed blocks a lot more, take the right angle, not whiff on a guy, wrap up when you're tackling. Like, it's going to be an issue until those things are not happening. But I don't know why we can't have a reasonable blend. Just give me that. Give me a reasonable blend. I am not discrediting all of Bertrand's tackles and the times he's right where he needs to be and all that. I'm not. But that middle line of defense also needs some more athleticism. Guys that are longer, guys that are faster, guys that could close up space quick, guys with that range. I need some of that too. So I'm asking for a balance. I don't know what we're going to get this year out of those. I saw them talking about. We're mixing and matching. We're trying to do a bunch of different personnel linebacker. We're moving guys around. We're trying different combinations. Beautiful. Like, I remember saying that's what spring's for. I really want to see us do that. And I've been reading that that's what they're doing. Now, I don't know if it's going to shake out to be the same starters that we're used to or not. But it at least gives me comfort they're using spring the right way, in my opinion, and doing some of that mixing and matching, seeing where we're at. So I don't know what to make of that, other than I want a blend of some sort if it's feasible. Is the new commit a 5-star, bro? No, and that's something I'm going to cover. We'll get there when I'm done with the rest of these messages, but that's one of the things I got to cover. And then I got a national guy I got to go at hard. So buckle up. He's not a 5-star. Adam Dowling, what's going on? Oh, Adam. Seeing Adam's name reminds me. Couple of reminders for this show and the rest of spring. Number one, 312-900-8815. Anything at all, if that's what spring's for, give me a call. Big picture stuff, small picture stuff, reactions to what you're reading about how springs go, whatever it is, I don't care. Give me a call. Like, that's what this is for. Open forum in the spring. Beautiful. And number two, Adams reminded me, I believe the Always Irish blue and gold tailgate, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. And Adams reminded me, because I've been talking to him about helping be there and help me put some of this together. Everybody's invited. Everybody. Cousin Luke. I don't care who it is. Everybody's invited to the Always Irish tailgate. You ain't going to miss it. I got the flagpole just came in the mail yesterday, and it's tall. Hopefully we get a little breeze because we're flying the flag. You're not going to be able to miss me. All right? So everybody's invited. I expect you to stop by. If you're there for the game, it isn't There's 100,000 people. You're like when I was there for Clemson and you couldn't find anybody or do anything. I'm going to be easy to find. I expect you guys to come by, have a drink. Or you could just come by and go, hey, John, I've seen your show. You suck. And then leave. I'll give you a beer anyways. Phil Ag, good to see you here. My brother Andrew Kennedy, good to see him here too. Look at this. Bob Kelly, I'm assuming by the nature of this message, he's not related to Brian Kelly. John, thank you for the show. It's a breath of fresh air. People here in central Pennsylvania love the show. I'm obsessed on the Irish beating our rival USC. Should be our main focus each and every day. Bob, I appreciate that very much. I didn't know I had a little pocket of fans in central Pennsylvania. What are my top 3 markets? This is so funny. Guess what when I look at the analytics, my top 3 markets are for this show. Number 1, Chicago, because it's local. Number 2 is New York. Number 3 is LA. So it's like we're really getting a lot of diversity here of where the most views come from. And it's the 3 biggest media markets in America. Number 4, South Bend. Number 5 is Indianapolis. Number 6, Columbus. Number 6, Columbus. There's a lot of us out that way. There are a lot of Notre Dame loving good people stuck there. But I always look at that to try and see where the views are coming from. And it's like, this didn't help me at all. Chicago, New York, and LA are all right. And then South Bend, that makes sense. Indy, that also makes sense. Columbus is the first one that makes you think. And then we get into the Michigan territory. It's interesting. A lot of people stuck in Columbus. Oh, thanks, Bob. Eric Tomel, John, no legal work today. I'll be working on my flip house today, just like the TV shows, baby. I'll listen to you as I'm installing kitchen cabinets. This guy's all over the place, Eric. I want to meet up with you. You're always helping me out on the show. You're always supporting the show. You're in court. You're out of court. Tune into Always Irish. Go back into court. Put some bad guys away or whatever you're doing. And then come back. And now you're doing the Bob Vila. Eric, you're a guy I want to be friends with. Jay Lehman, it's always good to see you. One of the nicest guys I've ever talked to. Nice guy. Really nice guy. Connor Neppard. Yeah, that's right. Go Irish. I will call again in the next couple of shows. Been busy, brother. Listen, I understand the morning slot doesn't work for everybody the same way. That's totally understandable. I want to be here because I want to start my day talking Notre Dame. Whoever could jump on board, jump on board. The Golden Playbook. Good to see you here. What's up, Notre Dame Nation? Mark Holzum is always in the house. Notre Dame 2164. Good to see you. Dr. John. I hope you are out of the cold, my brother. Hope you're out of the cold. Drunk. It's always good to have a drunk Vigo here first thing in the morning. The rich get richer. Robinson to USC. Ain't that the way it goes? I'm telling you. Adam, why do recruiting services have an agenda against ND and their committed players now? I can't figure it out. I've had recruiting experts on, guys that have worked in the industry writing. I've interviewed them. I've had them on. I've had private conversations about the phenomenon of guys getting pumped up and then they commit to Notre Dame. And then the next time they do a player ranking, those guys drop with no games, sometimes no games, no camps, no nothing. And they just drop like a rock once they commit to Notre Dame. It's like build them up to get the traffic, but then once they commit to Notre Dame, there's no more monetary gain of talking about them, or are we going to drop them to pump up some uncommitted guys to get more traffic? I don't know what it is. But when Notre Dame has committed guys dropping 100-something spots and there's been no season and no games to play, I genuinely can't understand practically how that's feasible. Because if you think a guy is one place and then you redo your rankings or update them and you got to drop a guy 100 spots, Doesn't that tell you you have a bad process for evaluation to begin with? Because how do you end up in that position? Doesn't that make you look bad that you had a guy out by your own admission, you were off 100 spots? Doesn't that indict your own process or equation? I don't get it. I don't get it, but it happens to us a lot. Very rarely is it like, oh, this Notre Dame guy, that's 3-star guy, commits to Notre Dame, and then the next night, and he's moving right up the rankings. It just seems to go the other way. So I don't know, man. I don't know. If there's a part of that I'm not getting, let me know. But especially with no games, it's not like right after the high school season would be a great time to redo your rankings. And then you go, oh, this guy was trending up and he got a lot better. He's going straight up. Or we thought this guy was balling out, but he gained a bunch of weight and he looks slower. He has a nagging injury and now we're not as hot on him. I get that. After an actual game season, I don't get it. Tell me what I'm missing. Tell me what I'm missing. What else does Adam have? Wait a second, I missed this. $20 holler from Eric Tomo, a.k.a. Bob Vila, a.k.a. Tim the Tomal Tooler. I love that show. I miss Home Improvement. Just good old-fashioned, wholesome family fun. That's what Home Improvement was. Nothing inappropriate, nothing racy, nothing you wouldn't want your kids to see. Just good old-fashioned family entertainment. Love Home Improvement. Eric, $20 holler. I appreciate you keeping the phone lines going, baby. If Artman starts all 12 games, ND's 11-1 at worst. If Pick 6 Buckner starts all 12 games, ND's in the 9-3 area. However, P6 Buckner is made out of glass. He'll never start 12 straight games at ND. That looks like it might come more into play next year rather than this year, assuming health to Hartman. And we're just going to have to see. And I always struggle with this. You guys, this is what I struggle with. I don't know how fair it is to knock Buckner's injury history. And what I mean by that is, I stood by the guy and talked to him at Blue and Gold last year. All right. I'm a skinnier, small guy. The stress keeps me skinny. Like, I cannot gain weight. There's always something on my mind and it just spins and I don't eat a lot and I'm just skinny all the time. Whatever. But standing next to Buckner, talking to him at Blue and Gold last year, remember, he wasn't in the game because of the fight with the stairs. That's why he was available to be where I was, right? And so he's a bigger dude than I thought. He's more built than I thought. And everybody is compared to me. But I mean, the dude you would not be standing by Tyler Buckner talking to him going, oh, this guy looks like weak or glass, like he's going to break. I did not have that impression at all. I did not have that impression at all. Like, he was pretty more built than I had thought until I met him. So I feel bad being like, I don't know if Buckner's going to survive if you get him out there and all that. But it's like, I'm not calling the guy soft. He has legitimate injuries when they're injuries. And it's like, you don't want to hold it against him. But also, your best ability is availability. And if you're not available, it's a knock against you, whether it's your fault or just bad luck. And that's where this gets tough for me. That's where people push back on me. John, you're not giving Buckner a fair shake, blah, 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 blah. It's like, dude, I wanted to give him a good shake last year and let him learn and develop and all that and grow. And I was willing to go along for that ride. And it just wasn't in the cards. And so I really, really struggle with that because it's like, is that fair or not fair to be that way? But it's like, it's a fact. The injuries keep happening. It's a fact. It's not his fault. I'm not saying there's anything he needs to change to do that. Take an elevator. Take an escalator. There, I just solved it. Don't take the stairs. Blue and Gold week. Take the elevator, bro. Take the elevator, please. I think we can make the playoffs with Hartman, the golden playbook. Oh, man. Peyton 800, just win. I don't care to hear about the labor pains. Just show me the baby, damn it. There we go. Yeah, that's what we're chasing. Oh. Where am I going to be for blue and gold? Here's my original thought. I think I'm going to get there really early. The best thing about blue and gold and gathering for it is the parking is easy. I don't think it costs anything for blue and gold. I think you just get to pull in and park wherever. I don't remember us paying last year. I think we just pulled in and parked. So I'm thinking if that's the case, we'll leave Illinois really, really early, get over there probably between 9 and 10. And I'm going to try and set up in the main stadium lot. Like, I don't see why not. If I could get there early enough and it's free and it's not a nightmare parking jam like a regular season game, that's my thought. So I'll confirm that. So I'm thinking stadium lot very early and will be obvious to see. I'm going to have a decent amount of people, I hope, just from the people I know that are coming. And the flag will be obvious, and you'll probably hear my music too. If I'm doing something, I'm doing it right. I'm not showing up there with one lawn chair and one beer sitting in a chair for all morning. We're having ourselves a party if we're doing this, and we're going to do it right. I expect all of you to swing by. I don't care if you don't know me personally or not. Friend of the show, come back and let me know. That's what we're doing. Here we go. Drunk Vigo. Buckner's envious of Hartman's manly beard. Yeah, we're breaking down the quarterback competition. Who's got the more manly facial hair? Oh, man. Sam Hartman said he envies Tyler Buckner's combination of athleticism and arm. I think that's quite complimentary of the guy that you're trying to beat out for that job. So I think that's a really nice thing to say in a friendly competition deal, that Hartman says he envies Buckner's combination of athleticism and arm. And Buckner's going to envy Sam Hartman being able to start all these games and play. Like, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but if Hartman's envious of that, I got a feeling Buckner's going to be envious of the playing time that Hartman's going to get. And I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm just saying that's what it looks like. Where does Livingston, Montana come in on your audience list? It's you and a couple animals roaming a range. That's who it is, that are watching the show from their nice field in frozen Montana. That's how that goes. Youngstown, Ohio. I'm telling you, we got a lot of Notre Dame, Ohio people. A lot of Notre Dame. Yeah, I saw this. I'm not even getting into this argument. I'm not going this far in these weeds. On Twitter last night, somebody said Freeman has reversed the momentum of BK's recruiting. I did. I got that texted to me by 3 different people late last night. It's so delusional that I can't understand it. And then the other part of the argument, here's where the guy really lost me. He was saying that Freeman reversed the momentum of Kelly's recruiting, but then to support his argument, this guy used Kelly's LSU recruiting success so far to bolster this position. And then right there, your position's intellectually disqualified for me. And let me explain why. This is not a better, worse dynamic. But the fact is, what you need to do to recruit at an elite high level at LSU is very, very different practically and structurally than how you need to do it at Notre Dame to get those same results. Again, I am not saying better or worse. They are set up very, very differently. Brian Kelly is very, very smart for making the move he made to LSU because he knew that the way they have to recruit to breed elite success fits him better than the way it's done at Notre Dame to get to that level. Again, not better or worse. It is different, and we all know why. Within a 200-mile radius, you can do your recruiting. You don't have to fly to every state all over. There's a lot of local talent in that area where Kelly is. That's an advantage. He didn't like having to get in the private jet and fly around, right? Okay. 200-mile radius, you can pretty much do a lot of your work. The academics and the grades, nobody's going to argue to me that they're as strict as Notre Dame. You don't have that pressure. They seem more out front with NIL and that kind of stuff. Okay. All of those things. And you got a lot of guys local to LSU territory. They're going to go to LSU no matter who the coach is. Notre Dame just doesn't have that luxury in a hotbed area with a ton of talent everywhere. They just don't have that luxury to be able to do that the same way. So for all those reasons, Kelly can recruit with the same amount of effort at LSU and get a better result out of it because it's just structured differently where it's more favorable for the way he wants to do it. So once the guy started saying, oh, look at what he's doing at LSU, and that proves it. No, it's not apples to apples. It's not. And that's not like, oh, John, you're on your high horse about Notre Dame academics and all, you guys think you're so fancy and you have it so tough. It's a choice. LSU chooses to operate one way. Notre Dame chooses to operate another. I'm not judging them either way. In fact, I have said this a million times. One of the things I'm giving Kelly a ton of credit for is making this move. It was very, very smart of Kelly. He knew what we knew. He wasn't getting over the hump at Notre Dame. He also knew what we knew, that he wasn't going to change what it takes to get over the hump at Notre Dame. His relationship with a lot of the administration had soured mostly. Smart move by Kelly. Smart move. It really was. So I don't know, but I can't get down with that Twitter guy. Can't get down with that Twitter guy. Here we go again. Look at this. Look at this. Eric Toma with another $20 holler. Man, Indy's offense will be on fire this year. Too much talent everywhere. Guards will play well enough. That's no concern. The offense alone will keep Indy in every game, even if the D is shaky at times. Eric, I kind of think that too. And it's very funny, Eric. You're mentioning the one part of this that now I think concerns me the most. Going into spring ball, I needed to see those receivers run around. And of the early enrollee young guys, I was unsure of which ones could flash early or how they were going to look. Would their bodies look like they're able to get out there early? I didn't know about all that with the younger guys. I think we knew some of the older guys' skill sets, advantages, limitations, all that. Like Merriweather, Colsey, it's more physical stuff, getting a further year down the road. A guy like Styles, get your head right. A guy like Thomas, we love what you were doing, keep trending. Now you're adding all them young guys in there that are also making plays. Every day I get the videos from practice. Those guys are making plays. All the quarterbacks are slinging around okay. I've seen good ones from Buckner, a bunch of dimes from Hartman, and I've seen Minchie throw some in practice that look good. Man, those two units have changed night and day in a year, and it is music to my Irish ears. Bagpiping music. Bagpiping music, folks. Okay. Eric, thanks for the $20 holler. What else do we got? Lee, Marie. So many depending on Hartman to be a superstar. Hope the hype doesn't disappoint. Awaiting a big laugh when Hartman has a bad game and Buckner puts on his cape to save the day. Here's the issue. Here's my response to that. I get the sentiment of your point. Here's what's going on, I think. I don't think everybody's relying on him to be a superstar. I just think the bar is so low of physical capabilities of this offense where we left off last year that's why it's so exciting. Like just the idea that we're tuning into spring practice and seeing these beautiful, lofted, spiraled, carefree deep balls dropping in our guys' breadbasket. That ain't something we got a lot last spring ball. Kidding me? You out of your mind? Like, some of this is he doesn't have to be a superstar to raise the play of that quarterback group 80% from what we had most of last year. That's my point. Hartman doesn't even have to be a superstar to get this to look really, really good. That's how bad a spot we were in last year. That's my point. I don't need the guy to win the Heisman. I need him to just be in the real world of what a Notre Dame quarterback should look like. If we just get that, this whole operation's light years out of where we've been. So I don't need him to be a superstar. I need him to be able to read a defense, hit a guy in stride across the middle a few times a night. Am I asking for too much? I don't need the guy to walk on water. I don't need the guy to cure cancer. Can you read a defense and actually throw a pass like a top 10 program has a quarterback that can do? I don't think I'm asking for too much, people. He doesn't have to be a superstar. Just being able to make basic plays puts you at the top of the class here. And I'm getting mad about it, thinking about the past. That all needs to be over. That all needs to be over. All that quarterback mess needs to be done. That whole quarterback room and all the messes and the bad timing and the bad recruiting and the bad development, the no development, it all needs to be over. Over. That all went to Louisiana to Mardi Gras with Kelly and to Alabama with Reese. All this quarterback crap needs to stop here. This is Notre Dame football. Why is it too much to ask to just have competent quarterback play year in, year out? You got your starter and you got another guy you're priming that's ready to go, that's skilled underneath them. Get real. The way Notre Dame's been living isn't even real. We haven't even given ourselves a chance to compete because of some of these dynamics for years. I think we're turning the corner on this. But my point is, Hartman doesn't have to be a superstar to raise the capability of this offense plus 90% on what it was last year. Combining some of the wide receiver talent and just a guy who's seen it all and could throw good passes once in a while. It's sad to me my bar's that low, but it is. So he doesn't have to be a superstar. Just be decent, and it's a major upgrade. So I'm not looking at this as Hartman needs to compete with Williams and then win the Heisman for this to be a good deal. We don't even need that to get significantly improved quarterback play. We don't. You don't need that. To get what I need out of this, you don't need that. Getting worked up, and I didn't even get to the recruiting stuff that's pissing me off yet. This is going to be one. Man, Rob, it's good to see you. John, the offense doesn't concern me this year. It's the defense. Lost a ton on the D-line. LBs are average at best, and the only confidence is in Ben Morrison. Also, I'm not sold on Al. I just did a video a couple days ago saying that, or last week, I don't even remember sometimes, saying that it's the year of the Als. Al Washington, Al Golden, let's go. Let's go. I'm looking at both of you. Al, listen. 4 out of your top 6 tacklers are gone off the defensive line. Over half your sacks are gone. Your leading returning producers, Howard Cross with 33 tackles, makes me nervous. D-line is my number one concern for Notre Dame as we sit right now. That will only change after Ohio State. And I see that you did not get ran on against Ohio State, and you were able to put pressure on their young quarterback and force him to make some mistakes and throw you the ball at home in your fancy green jerseys, I might add. That's when I'll start talking about not worrying about this or being justified for worrying about this. It ain't going to be Navy. It ain't going to be Tennessee State. It ain't going to be NC State. Nope. Central Michigan High School. It ain't going to be them either. Ohio State. So that's when we'll start talking about whether this concern is justified or overblown. I'm not talking about it till then. Nope. Can't do it. Can't do it. Local source. What's up, John? I'm planning to be at the blue and gold game. I will confirm the plans, but I'm thinking main tailgate area, and we're just going to have a fun time. People are going to be coming and going as they're visiting other people. Stop by, food, drinks. Everybody's welcome. I would almost prefer if one of the trolls showed up and said, John, you suck. That would make my day. And then we'd crack a beer, and that'd be it. I would love that. That would be hilarious to me. Oh, man. Here we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Michael Campbell, this is what I'm going to yell about. We're going to get there in a minute. Cooper Patagna, 247 Sports national guy. He's from Alabama, so we know he has deep biases against Notre Dame. So these jobs are great when they are opinions and they have no grades to earn. We're going to get there. It's one of my big things today. I better save my voice. Phil Hag, looking forward to joining your tailgate. Be happy to make a donation if my family and I could join. Of course, your family could join. Here's the donation. Bring anything you want to add. So if you want to bring a cake, I'm going to have coolers with stuff, but I can't bring 500 beers for everybody that's there. I'm going to have a couple coolers with just basic domestic cheap beer to drink. Anybody else, bring whatever you want, and then we'll probably have some sort of food or a grill going. Bring a bag of chips and some beer to throw in the cooler, and then we're all good. That's all it is. If you want something specific to drink, bring it. Bring a bag of chips, something to eat. Boom, you're done. Pat says we're going to have to coordinate on parking, make sure we're together. For the people that I know are going to be in my group right away from the beginning, that's a good idea. The earlier you get there, the easier it's going to be to make that happen, to figure that all out. But you'll be able to be in the same lot, so that's not the biggest deal. It's blue and gold. It isn't Clemson. So even if you can't park right by me, you might be 20 rows off in there, but it's close enough you could just walk over. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. At least last year wasn't. It was beautiful getting in and out of there and parking. Richard Moore said, good to see you. Excited for Sam. Saw him a bunch in Winston-Salem. Definitely in a system, but his deep ball is great touch, very accurate. Hope it works out for him. It's going to be an upgrade no matter what, just because of his skill set. Cousin Luke. Kelly landed 5 stars. Freeman loses 5 stars. I disagree with that. When is the last time Kelly had a 5-star that he landed? Give me a break. Oh, boy. All right. I'm trying to get down here so I could get back to my... What is this? John has no real solid ground to stand on when he makes excuses for Freeman. Freeman doesn't win on the field and doesn't win on the recruiting trail. Freeman doesn't win on the field. So you have made a total determination of how good or not Freeman is already off 1 year. Off 1 year dealing with Kelly's players that Cousin Luke even has to admit the wide receiver room was a joke. And that was Kelly's fault and what he allowed to happen with the non-recruiting, non-development in that room for years. So you've totally made your determination off 1 year with your starting quarterback out most of the year and having to play with the old guys that I don't think were recruited and developed well enough. You're just writing them off. There's no redemption. There's no development. Freeman can't get better at this. There's none of that. I just can't do that. I can't do that. Now, cousin Luke, do I agree with you? Am I frustrated about the recruiting? Yeah, hell yeah, I am. Yeah. Like cousin Luke, I'm not gonna skate around that. Extremely frustrated with the top end of the last recruiting class. Beyond frustrated because I saw the effort and it was exemplary, and the result we got did not match the effort that was put in, and that's life and that's frustrating. But what it opens up is people to go, oh, look at this. Freeman didn't get it done. This class ended up right where a Kelly one would have. That's such a surface level to look at it that ignores so many other things that are going on. But I admit I was frustrated. And the most frustrating part of being frustrated about the recruiting is I don't know how you fix it. It wasn't effort. It wasn't messaging. It wasn't getting these guys interested in Notre Dame, right? None of that was an issue. It wasn't Freeman couldn't find five-star guys that also had the grades and test scores to get into Notre Dame. He had a few of them. Five-star guys that would have had no problem getting into Notre Dame that were interested, either verbally committed or silently committed. And it didn't work out. And I think NIL has a lot to do with that or whatever. And some of these kids' egos or whatever. But it wasn't, I don't blame Freeman for that. I don't blame Freeman for that. So I just don't want us to be hostages to NIL the night before signing day every year, and then our top couple guys get chopped out of every class. That's the dynamic that I need to avoid. Freeman's effort, the way he's doing it, like the way they canvas, I have no issue with any of that. The modern message, I love all of it. You got to figure out how to not lose your top guys at the last second every year. That's a problem. It's a problem. Oh, look at this. Pat, good morning, Pat. Pat and Uncle Luke or Cousin Luke going at it. Oh, man. All right. I'm scrolling down a little bit through some of these debates. I want to get caught up and take some calls. 818-574 is next.
Well, good morning, sunshine.
Yeah. What's going on? Yeah, I know everybody wants to start their morning listening to me yell. What a beautiful. Some people like to see the sun and listen to the birds. Other people tune in for this. Oh my God, we're a sick group.
I don't hear a rooster in the morning. I hear John Kennedy, not of a presidential relation.
Oh man,
ranting and raving and screaming. And
no, you know what you need to do? No, you know what you need to do? We'll make you your alarm clock could just be me waking you up at 6 a.m. going, that's right, on repeat. We'll just repeat. That's right. God. Get up. That's right. That's what we'll do.
Oh my God. Well, first of all, I've got to change the ringer so that it actually has you doing that whenever your text or anything comes in. But on top of that, yeah, having your voice as the alarm clock.
I would not wish that on my worst enemy. I'll tell you that right now. I wouldn't even wish that on my family. So anyway, hey, what's on your mind, man? Are you here's something I want to bring up. We've seen more clips out of the defense this week. Like the first bunch, I think they were like, we're going to show off the offense and we could throw it around a little bit now. Now we're seeing some more film from the defense. Here's what I've decided though, man. It's a lot harder for me to look at the film from the defense in spring ball and make bigger conclusions about what I'm seeing and whether it's good or bad compared to the offense, where a really good pass and throw with touch is a really good pass and throw with touch. And it's like obvious. The athleticism was there, the timing was there, and all the rhythm and how good the pass was, and the guy diving to catch or whatever. it's just harder for me to tell from what I see from the defensive tape where we're at. Am I wrong on that? Am I the only one who thinks that?
Well, I've always thought that it's when it comes to spring ball, I've never honestly put any stock in what I see the defense do ever. The only thing I'm looking for, honestly, is okay, how aggressive are they in defense, and are they getting takeaways? Because the rest of the stuff is so hard to judge. You don't know. Even if let's say it's a situation where you have an uber talented team on both sides of the ball, and the defense is dominating them. I sometimes just think that has to do with especially this year. I mean, you got a new offensive system. You're assuming the players haven't quite caught on to it yet. Defense always has an advantage in the early going. It's just because then the offense will figure things out. Okay, now we're going to figure out how to attack them this way. Plus, let's be honest, man, they're all teammates. I mean, it just doesn't. You're not going to go after your teammate as hard as you're going to go after someone wearing a Clemson jersey or a USC jersey. You know what I'm saying? So I look much more offensive to me is much more an indicator of what you're going to see.
Hey, you know what that reminds me of? You just triggered a very good memory. You know what that reminds me of? When I watched the documentary about the 85 Bears, there's a segment in there where they talk about Ditka and Buddy Ryan fighting because the defense was injuring the offense in every practice because they went 100% and were like body slamming Jim McMahon on every play in practice. And Ditka had to tell Buddy Ryan, these are our own guys. You can't kill them. And then Buddy Ryan would say, I'm doing this. So then when we get into the games, the guys are just in kill mode. That's what it reminded me of, that dynamic.
Man, you talk about a team that was divided and somehow still won.
Yeah, that was a unique combination. I don't think Buddy Ryan and Ditka got along. They were like two head coaches, offense, defense, but they won.
I shouldn't say the team was divided, but certainly the head coach and the defensive coordinator did not like each other at all.
Yep, but they got it done. All right, I don't want to get off that. I don't want to get off that path. Or I do want to get off that path.
That team should have won 3 Super Bowls. That team should have won 3 Super Bowls. One fantastic team. I'll take that. But being put out of playoffs by Washington Redskins the next year, I'll never forget that game. Anyway,
so
I digress.
About the defense, it's just harder to kind of see what you have. Like there's nothing that could happen in spring that's going to make me go, oh, I know now that I can relax. We're going to hold up against Ohio State's run game. Like I just don't. It's so much more wait and see compared to offense. Like I see these athletic bodies making plays, and I know their athletic bodies making plays. I see the throws and I know the touch because I see it. It's just harder for me to gauge where they are on defense when I just see them all running around.
Yeah, me too, man. And so I don't really feel any. I mean, we're going to see it on the field one way or another. I don't feel any different going into this season as I did last year from a defensive standpoint because I'm feeling I'm looking at Nordy's past, success or lack thereof with defensive coordinators and what then has happened in years after that. And when I look back, Van Gorder was actually more successful his first season than he was by far. And that was the first half of the season, if you remember. His defense, which is very strange. You would think a new system like that, I guess maybe he was dumbing it down a little bit in the beginning, and then he got way too cute and never knew how to dial himself back because the confusion and that back, those back, 11 guys. And that reminds me of back when Notre was defensive coordinator with Charlie Watson. They had a very similar problem. Like they started out really good, but then throughout the year, it was just like guys were so confused and constantly you'd see these 80-yard plays. Anyway.
No, wait. You started that sentence. Yeah. You started that sentence by saying you don't really feel any different about the defense this year than going into last year. Did I hear you correctly? Am I interpreting that right?
I got ahead of myself. Yeah, what I mean is this, John. I just don't think we're going to be the defense we were under Clark Lea. I just got that feeling. I hope I'm wrong. I think Golden's good, we're not going to reach the depths of Van Gorder or, like I said, Chinooda. That's
No,
not gonna
well,
happen.
for
We're
the
gonna
other
be- we're gonna
reason,
be
but
solid.
wait, the other reason for that is pure talent. Like there is the talent on the defense is night and day, and the depth is night and day from what it was back then too. So for that reason, I don't think it's even, no matter what you run and what idiot might be running it, there's so much more overall talent. I don't think it could be as bad as that. For that reason, it insulates you from it. But I guess you're like, I don't feel any worse about this. So I would ask, losing 4 out of your 6 top tackling defensive linemen isn't registering to you? Because it's keeping me up at night.
And that's what I mean. I mean, if it wasn't for the defensive line, there's just so many question marks there. Maybe we are being a little too pessimistic on that side of the ball. I don't know. I just get this very strange feeling.
You're a
That we're
suspect.
not going to reach those levels.
You're a suspect until you're found innocent. That's how I look at it. Like this is not one of those where my default is everything's going to be okay. My default setting is things are registering to me in the offseason that are red flags to worry about, and they're going to remain until you are cleared of the crime. Like everybody's guilty till I see I don't have to worry about you. Yeah, James says, John, you worry too much. I'm a worrier. I'm a worrier by nature. If you're not worrying about something, it tells me you're not paying close enough attention to your life, because there's always something you should be worrying about. Whether you are or not isn't the point. There's always something. You just got to pay close enough attention.
Well, and the other thing, too, when you see trends starting to develop and those trends don't seem to go away, that just kind of tells you that's the trend you expect. Notre Dame's trend last year, and this is the thing this is why I bring this up. When they had to come through, generally they did like they have had in the past. But as soon as they would score a touchdown, so many times you'd see, oh, wow, they had three series in a row where they really played tough. Oh, we just scored a touchdown. Oh, now they just decided not to play tough and let the other team go right down the field and score. And because we're going to be scoring a lot more this year, I think you're going to be seeing that a whole lot more too. That's what I'm saying. I don't feel like this is going to change. I don't think they're going to be a bad defense. I don't think it's going to be one of those things where they're going to fall into the 60s or 70s in the whole defense.
Yeah, I think they were what? I think it was like 40, 43 overall last year, which isn't quite the NBA standard.
I just do. I think that's going to remain. I think because in a lot of ways, and I think even with Clark Lee, again, there's no evidence for me to say this. It's just kind of been Notre Dame's way over. Notre Dame doesn't generally, with the exception of that 2012 season, which they didn't have an offense anyway that year. They just never seem to completely dominate defensively for an entire game over an entire season.
Yeah.
They don't do that. Notre Dame generally plays complementary to defense, even when they're really, really good. Which is good because when you need them to make the play, they do. And especially if you have a good offense, you don't have to worry about that as much. But I see that being the way this year's team is. Probably somewhere in the 40s, probably a little less stout on the line, but a little better in the back end.
And here's the other part of this, and I'm sure you've thought of this. Here's the other thing with this is I don't think a lot of people are going to complain if the defense isn't exactly locked down the way we want it, or ultimate bend but don't break, which a lot of recent good Notre Dame defenses have kind of featured being that way. If the offense is good enough that it's exciting and they're scoring more points every game and putting together longer drives, that builds the defense more leeway. So maybe they can offset and balance a little bit. I can never have one of these games where I come in here on a post-game show and go, the Notre Dame defense is why we lost this game. Like, it took us a long time to get out of that. I don't want to go back to it. Like, that just can't be the end result.
I couldn't agree more. And I don't think that, like I said, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Golden is a good coach. I do. I think he's a good pedigree. He's a good coach. I just don't think he's got that ability. That's just my feeling. I don't know the guy. I just don't feel like he has the ability to turn them into this dominant unit. You know, like we have borderline had the last several years. But I do think it's still going to be decent. It's still going to be good. It's going to be better than average. Hey, listen, if they just can change most of those touchdowns that they gave up to field goals, or even half of them, or even a third of them, if the third of the touchdowns they would give up easy become field goals and we're scoring touchdowns,
Yep.
I don't really care. I don't really care
Yep.
because let's be honest, between the 80s, they were really good. I mean, that's the other thing. That was the other trend that you would expect to continue. They were really good between the 80s. They were really bad in the red zone. So if they can just tweak being better in the red zone, maybe I can accept being a little better, a little worse between the 80s, maybe. If we're scoring a bunch of points and we're keeping the ball.
And you know what else is
nearly the game.
You know what else where a small improvement is going to make a huge difference is if they do even a marginally better job of getting off the field on third downs on defense. That was a little bit out of whack last year in certain ways. At USC was a terrible example of that. But if they could tighten it up in the red zone and turn some of them 7s into 3s, get off the field a couple more times a game on third down, and then the offense does what we think it's going to do, you're in good shape overall. You're in pretty good shape, right?
Yeah, of course. Of course. And that's the key. And these games, and when you think about it, they come down to usually 2 or 3, moments in the game, where, oh man, if Morrison kicks that ball off, if it doesn't, slap it down, or if he slaps the ball down and doesn't allow the guy to catch it, and then the guy barely gets the first. I mean, it's little things like that, or little foul or Maris, if they get to the guy just a half second quicker, that ball doesn't go in the air and that guy then doesn't catch it.
Dude, you were just talking about Van Gorder and all that, and then somebody shows up and their account is Brian Van Gorder's burner is their name, and there's the picture of him looking all crazy doing this. Why can't anybody tackle? Nobody knows where to go. Everybody's running around.
Oh my God. And that guy was so active on the sideline. Remember, he was just had all these signals and things like that.
Dude, he was the ultimate Uncle Rico. He was the ultimate Uncle Rico. He looked like Uncle Rico. He had body movements like Uncle Rico. He has hair like Uncle Rico. It was hilarious and terrible. And I never want to think about the guy again.
It was he was so smart. Yeah, he was so smart. He outsmarted his own defense.
Yeah, exactly. You got the smartest football players. You got the smartest high-level college football players in all of America at Notre Dame. And they were all going, I can't understand this defense. Trigonometry, no problem. This guy's defense, too complicated. I'm so over it. I'm over it.
You brought up something about him, though, that brings up another thing about Notre Dame that I've never been able to figure out, but there must be something to it. Because as soon as that started to go, if you remember, I remember those first 5 games that he was the coordinator. And I was very nervous of Kelly making that change of replacing him for Diaco, because I thought Diaco was really good. I'm like, why? This is the best part of your team. Why change something that was working? In my opinion, it was working. And I get Van Gorder in the first 5 games of the season. I remember they were just playing lights out on defense. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's fantastic. I'm so happy to have this guy. And then just little by little, they just started playing worse and worse. And when they were playing worse and worse, who was the quarterback? Was it Golson at the time? Golson went downhill. I mean, he just completely crapped the bed after that. I mean, it was like,
all right.
So a combination defense worse, and then Golson lost his confidence. And it was just
and then it snowballed.
In previous years.
All right.
What's that?
I said it snowballed into hell. Then the snowball melted. Then we were all miserable. There's one good thing that resulted from 2016, and it was me starting this show. Had it not gone so bad and me been so mad and not feel like anybody was asking the questions that need to be asked, this show would have never existed. So I guess I'm kind of glad. But let's move it all forward here to now. I saw 2 days ago articles where they interviewed Golden or whatever, and he was talking about the big change from moving into Notre Dame last year and getting used to everything being new, and him talking about how different this year could be with another year to evaluate where we're at, look at stuff, and kind of get things more calibrated. That gave me some comfort because that's how I feel about the situation. And to see him say, I just feel like I'll be in a lot better position 2 years in to be able to make the adjustments needed to get this where it needs to be. I felt that that was encouraging. Now I got to see it on the field, but I like that he was kind of thinking similarly to I was, and he talked about it. I don't know.
Well, and my mind was drifting when you were talking there a little bit. I was thinking about the defensive line and Mike Elston, and what a great, run that we had there at that position. And then thinking to myself, if it wasn't for them giving him a chance to be the defensive coordinator in that game against Oklahoma State and him failing miserably, he'd probably still be the defensive line coach, John. But because he was given that opportunity, it was hard for him to then go backwards. I think, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if he would ever been offered that. If he would have been, you know what I'm saying? If he would have been left, and look, he can't go backwards. I realize we have Al Washington now, but that's really where all my anxiety on defense lies. I honestly think if we still had Elston, I don't think I'd be feeling this way at all about our defense. I think I'd be like, okay, yeah. And I don't think some of those woes that we had last year would have happened either. So I'm thinking this through, and now I'm like, well, it's really just that position group, because we were so, I don't want to say spoiled, but we got the most that we could have possibly gotten out of our coach and out of the guys that he did coach. And so that's really the area of concern. Look, man, it could turn out maybe the offense is really good and the defense is really good this year, and we're finally a dominant team that's and oh God, but let me not even think of the worst case scenario. And that is, oh great, those two areas of the team are great, but now the special teams is terrible.
Yeah,
or something like that.
I know.
But,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I know. I'm the one who got crap.
I mean, we haven't even talked about special teams yet, man.
Listen,
we haven't really spent a lot of time
when Mason
left.
When Mason left, I did an emotional show the next morning saying, this is terrible. That's my guy. I'm upset. And I got a bunch of messages being like, man, you are weak and it's just special teams. Relax. Who cares? You just replace the guy. What we saw from that unit last year was not easily replaceable. Nobody's going to convince me otherwise. It was the most consistent unit on the team week in to week out. And that is for sure. Any final thoughts, my friend? I got to get a couple more people on.
No, not at all, John. I just these are just my thoughts. I still think the over/under of 8.5. I think again, just everybody temper the expectations a little bit. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Notre Dame makes a run this year and undefeated, maybe one loss. But I still am looking at a 2 to 3 loss season with a bowl win, so probably 10 wins this year. But we'll see, man. I just think this thing's going to keep going up, but it's not going to shoot up as fast as we think. That's all. That's what my thoughts are. Yeah. That's what I'll leave you with.
Beautiful, man. Hey, have a good weekend, and then we'll be in touch on Blue and Gold. I expect to see you. Bring your friends. Let's party.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Beautiful. Have a good weekend, buddy.
You too, buddy.
Later. Bye. All right. Pat only has a couple minutes. Then we're going 574-301. What up?
What's up? What's up, John?
What's going on, buddy? Hey, when are you going to the Masters? Forget this football stuff. When the hell are you going to Augusta?
Oh.
What day are you going?
I leave Saturday. I'm only going to be able to go on Sunday. The guy who's getting me in is only going to give me a Sunday pass.
Well, that's a good day to go, my friend. Cheesy Pete.
Yeah,
well,
I'm not saying no to that.
Yeah, enjoy every moment of that. All right, nobody else cares about golf. What do you want to be mad about today?
I'm not mad about anything. I just want to call and say that I've accomplished my goal. I have been blocked by a troll.
Wait a second. They can block other just chatters? I thought only so you could block other people chatting to you? I didn't even know that was a feature.
Cousin Luke blocked me.
Oh. Wait a second. How is he the one stirring up all the shit and then he blocks you? Pat,
he apparently can't take it.
Dude,
he
Pat,
apparently can't take it.
All of these messages I wake up to, it's like 5 and 7, 6 and 6. Freeman's a failure. Like, I don't know. People want him to fail or I don't know if these people really even like Notre Dame, or if they like me, or if they don't like me and they want to just see me have a stroke on the air. I don't know what the angle is here. Or do you think they really believe it? Do they really believe it?
I think people like to see you stroke on the air personally.
Wait, be careful there.
That is entertaining.
But I mean, I know, but I pick my spots because people know things they'll say that'll really trigger me. But I don't know if they really think 6-6 and Freeman's bad, or if they're exaggerating for effect. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Like, I just can't understand a person who comes in here into your chat. They know you're for Freeman, but you're also honest. You will say that you didn't like.
All right, Newt's. All right, hey, Newt's saying, John, I think you have a great show, but Freeman's not the answer. He sucks. I don't know how anybody could feel like they have enough information to make that determination yet.
I totally agree. I don't understand that comment. What has Freeman done? He's the first-year head coach. What? All of a sudden, in 1 year, he's garbage, and you got to get rid of him? Why? Like, I don't understand that. I have questions about Freeman. People that think I'm a Freeman suck ass, I don't understand why. I'm not happy that he lost those three guys. I understand why he lost those three guys.
Yeah.
Keeley a little bit less. But, the recruiting is better. People who are saying that, Brian Kelly was a better recruiter. He got 5 stars. He got Jalen Smith. That's the only 5-star. If I could recall, I think there was an offensive lineman as well. But I don't even think that offensive lineman worked out. That actually stayed the entire time. Stephon Tuitt wasn't a 5-star. Manti Te'o wasn't his commit.
But,
so who did he have?
But wait, here's the part of this that people aren't getting. I understand that I was all in on Freeman for head coach very, very early. I would argue I was the first one in Notre Dame media to throw in the water the idea of him getting that job 1 month after he was here as defensive coordinator. I would challenge anybody else in Notre Dame media. Show me where you posted saying this guy's on the Notre Dame head coaching track before me. You can't, because it doesn't exist. So when you do that the way I did, your name's on the line. If he goes down, if he fails, then I look bad because I bought in. I get all that. But why, Pat, why can't it be this? Why can't I support the guy and think he's a great dude and doing things the right way? But that doesn't mean I think he's perfect. Just because I like him doesn't mean I'm saying nothing else needs to get better in the way he's doing it now. Nothing needs to change. Why can't they both be true? There's still improvement needed. Freeman's not a finished product, and I never said he was. But I think his potential is great.
And, you could go back. We're the same age. I'm 38 years old. I'll be 39 in a week. And I can go back in my memory and think about every new coach that was hired. I fully supported Bob Davie as head coach. I fully supported Joe O'Leary for a week. I fully supported Tyrone Willingham, no matter how much I hate that man.
For a week.
The biggest disaster in the history.
I know. That's funny.
But, Willingham was the greatest disaster. I was on board with that guy. I was on board with Kelly. I was on board with Kelly for 4 or 5 years before I finally said enough of this guy. I supported the coach. I did not dump on the guy after the first year. I didn't dump on any of the guys after the first year. And these people that just give up on Freeman, or I really think they just never wanted Freeman. I don't know if they're Brian Kelly suckasses. And it all comes back to, John, they could say, Newt Rockne can say that he's not a great coach and he sucks. But really, I just think he's here because you are on board with Freeman, and so it's the easiest way to agitate you. And I don't care. And to Cousin Luke, fine, you don't like Freeman, okay. Somebody asked the question. I guess I don't get to see the response because the clown blocked me. But what would you want to see different?
Yeah.
Brian Kelly left Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Notre Dame did not get rid of Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly left Notre Dame, so Notre Dame had to get a new coach.
Yeah.
Who was your replacement if it's not Marcus Freeman?
See, I went through
what
this.
What did you want to see happen if it's not Marcus
I
Freeman?
went through this.
Come in here.
Because, Pat, here's what happened.
Most of your show on mute because I had most of your show on mute because I was on a conference call.
Here's what happened, okay? What happened is a lot of these people on these boards that were saying Kelly doesn't recruit good enough, never getting over the hump, the back room, but we got to get him out of here. There's a lot of that, and I was on board with that. But a lot of those same people that didn't like Kelly, now they don't like Freeman. So it's like, what did you want? What did you want? You didn't like the old guy. Now you got a new guy doing it totally different. You don't like that either. What do you want? Nick Saban's not coming here. Prime Urban Meyer isn't here. Kirby's not coming here recruiting like Georgia. Who do you want then? Give me a name. Who?
All right, take a sip of water. Take a sip of water. I want to go back to Knute Rockne's. I feel. Oh, not that one. Brian Kelly left because Notre Dame was not making the changes. Big difference. What changes did Notre Dame not make that Brian Kelly wanted? They built him a new practice facility. They redid the football stadium. They put turf in. They put the video board in. They spent $1 billion on this program. They gave all of his coaches pay raises. They got private planes to fly him around the country. They did all of this stuff. The only thing they didn't do that Kelly wanted was he wanted them to drop the restrictions. Guess what? They didn't do that for Marcus Freeman either, but somehow, some way, Marcus Freeman is getting guys Kelly never looked at. So there's a difference here. And if you want to say Kelly left because Notre Dame didn't give him anything, you are lying either purposely or you are lying to yourself. And I can't help you with that. You're a troll. You either don't understand what is happening or what did happen with that football program, or you're a troll. That's it. I don't know how else to help you.
And I just don't get.
Oh, Rudy, I love you, honey.
I don't get how. I don't get. Dude, 1 year is not enough to make a determination on if Freeman is going to get this over the hump or not. Like, I support him because of the way he's running things. And I think it puts Notre Dame in the best chance to be successful. But nobody that loves Freeman is saying he's a finished product and what we saw last year was good enough. Just keep doing that, buddy. I felt like it was kind of like known that I like Marcus as a guy, and he has to get better at this and tighten things up. Not have a Marshall, not have a Stanford. And you know what's going to help him probably do that? Not having a lot of Brian Kelly's recruits being developed by his bad assistant coaches that were lazy. Right. That's probably going to help.
Here's the perfect example of the people that the cousin Luke who wanted to say Brian Kelly got 5 stars. He said it, not me. I'm not doing the Brian Kelly comparison. That's what he said. He said Kelly got 5 stars. Do you know where Brian Kelly was at when he was supposed to be on a recruiting trip for Notre Dame in California when the news broke that he was taking the LSU job? He was on the golf course. You know what Tommy Rees said he did every year when Tommy Rees was the quarterback coach and offensive coordinator at Notre Dame under Brian Kelly? When they went on the West Coast recruiting trip after the USC or Stanford game, he played golf in California. He didn't recruit. You know what Marcus Freeman does after that game? He goes to recruits' houses. So don't tell me Brian Kelly did. He played golf. Marcus Freeman, maybe he won't be as good of a coach as Brian Kelly is. I think Brian Kelly, X and O's football coach, is probably better right now. Just like Nick Saban was better than Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart is the top dog in the country.
But Pat, wait. Georgia. Wait, what if I told you, here's what people won't expand their mind to. What if I told you what you just said about Kelly probably being, better overall coach right now than Free? What if I told you, I agree with you, but that doesn't mean I'd rather have Kelly here? I feel like that's a totally legitimate position. That I agree with your assessment that Kelly's probably a better X's and all that now, but that still doesn't mean I'd prefer him over Freeman.
No.
Because he's building something a different way. I knew what I was going to get with Kelly.
Right,
I knew what I was going to get with Kelly because I got it over and over and over and over and over again.
Exactly.
And it was never good enough.
12 years ago. Exactly. We knew exactly what we were going to get with Kelly. And that's why I was done with Kelly after he had that 4 or 5 win season, in the middle of his tenure at Notre Dame. I was done with Kelly. You knew what you were going to get with Kelly. Freeman is going to get better as a coach. He's going to – that dude's in his 30s. I think he's younger than I am. I mean, we're talking about a guy taking the head coaching job when the average age of the head coach is like 52 when they started at Notre Dame. And they've been doing it for 10 years. This dude's in his 30s. He's got a lot to learn. He's going to get better. But the things that he does well now is better than what Brian Kelly was doing with 20 years experience. He works harder and he recruits. And just because he didn't get a 5-star kid because schools were throwing out $1 million like they were freaking jelly beans doesn't mean the guy's a bad recruiter. It just means that Notre Dame has to adjust as a program overall. It's not just Freeman. And I'm not making a Freeman excuse. They should have been better prepared. It's his failure that they weren't better prepared for NIL. It is his failure because he's in charge of it. It's not an excuse for Marcus Freeman. That's the fact. It's his failure. But at the end of the day, dude's going to figure it out. And if he doesn't, he needs to go. But I'm not going to say he needs to go right now. He's got to give him a chance. There's been one coach in my memory that sucked after year 2 that needed to go after year 2, and that was Tyrone Willingham. And if anyone wants to say that Tyrone Willingham should have been given his 5 years, look what he did to Washington with 5 years.
What happened to your quick call? You didn't have a lot of time, just calmly going to interject. What happened? Huh?
I got to go.
All right, go. Bye.
My wife's outside with she just came home with a quarter cow of beef. I got to haul into the house.
My wife.
She's calling me waiting. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell your wife.
Spring game.
What?
Spring game. We got to coordinate parking. So
right.
I want to get there around the same time you do, so we can park together.
Yeah. I'll be in touch. I'll firm up the plan. We're gonna have a good group. There's a lot of people that want to go. It's gonna be fun, man. My tailgate. My tailgate boombox
staying in my parents' lake house, so I'm going to be real close.
I got my music arrived. That thing, I'm telling you, we're going to be bumping in that parking lot. We're going to have a good time. All right, Pat, get back to work.
That's right up my alley. That's right up my brother's alley.
Oh, we're going to have, you guys, you know how I do it. I'm not doing this and doing it, halfway. You know how I'm going to do this. It's going to be a great time. I got that.
I'll bring the grill and
you and Rudy know. You and Rudy know I got that Snoop fired up and ready to go in that parking lot. All right, Pat.
Are you gonna crip walk for us?
See ya. Oh, duh. Obviously, clearly. Duh.
There you go. For Always Irish Nation, you gotta come to the tailgate just to see John crip walk.
I'm telling you, dude. I got more moves than a guy.
Notre Dame Irish shoes.
I got more moves. Come on, man. I cut more rugs than a guy that works at Luna. Okay, you have no idea. All right, gotta go. See ya, pal. Bye.
All right, later. Bye.
That was a good one, wasn't it? Oh, my God. Fridays are off the rails. I don't know. 574, give me some more. Bring this back to earth, 574. We're off the rails today on a Friday.
How's it going, man?
It's going well. I just like the energy. I like the energy. I mean, there's just a lot of moving parts here, and spring's a good time to look at them. What's on your mind with all this? Spring ball, big picture, small picture? Where do you want to go?
So I heard the conversation before. I heard the conversation about like Freeman and all that.
Yeah.
I've seen somebody in the comments was saying not giving him a chance. And I agree with that. I think you give a guy at least 3 years, 4 years at least, before you start, making that determination. Like, I mean, this is the second year.
Am I incorrect? Or was his deal not a 6-year deal? So, I mean, it isn't even really, it's not like they said, we'll give you 3 years and then see what's going on. I believe that was a 6-year deal. And the only way he doesn't fulfill it is if things go absolutely horrific, or if they go good, right, and then Ryan Day leaves and then he goes over to Ohio State and they have no limitations and then he can recruit and actually get all the 5 stars. Right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But 1 year, man, it's too much. Do these people just not like Freeman? Do they not like me? 1 year is not enough to judge this guy with a quarterback who is dead and no wide receivers and all that stuff. Like year one, you gotta, it's not how this goes. It's not how this goes.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta give a guy a chance,
and nobody's saying, no one's saying what last year was good enough and Freeman never changed anything. No, there has to be an improvement. Freeman has to get better at this and develop. I hear this Newt Rockney saying, stop it, John. You're making excuses. 2 days ago, hey, Newt Rockney, you're saying all I do is kiss Freeman's ass. Go back to YouTube. Look at my shorts from a few days ago. I absolutely went ballistic on Freeman about USC, saying you don't get to start 0-2 against USC. It can happen. He has to figure that out this year. How's that making excuses? I didn't say, oh, you're my guy. It doesn't matter if USC, our rival, beats us. I went off yelling about how he's got to figure that out. I don't know what else you want me to do.
Right. And yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think he will figure it out eventually. Hopefully he figures it out this year, because that's the one game that he can't lose. Like, because that's a rivalry game. So
yeah, it's dangerous. You don't get, it's not a good start to your Notre Dame tenure to be 0-2 against those Holly weird clowns and letting the little pretty boy quarterback painting his nails F you on live TV. And then we don't even hit the guy all night, let him clown us. I'm still not over it, and I'll never get over it. And you need to make up for it at our place next year.
Yeah, I really hope that
God, I'm sorry, man. You're so calm to talk to, and I'm so far the other way. I just feel bad. I'm going to tone it. I'm going to just bring it down a little bit.
It's all right. I understand. I mean, it's Friday, man. It's Friday.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, yeah, I seen that Caleb Williams did that to his nails.
That's Hollywood, baby. Like, it's so USC Hollywood. Classless, tactless, just kind of offensive. Like, nobody normal would do that. That's such a Hollywood thing to do. It fits the USC thing perfect. Let's talk about Notre Dame, though, this year, this fall. The season's coming up. I want to know your real thoughts. I think the offense is going to take a big step forward. I am a little bit concerned the defense may struggle at times, especially up front. Do you share those concerns, or do you see things differently as far as strengths and weaknesses?
I definitely think the offense is going to be pretty stacked. I mean, we got a lot of talent on the offense. Obviously with Hartman, he's a big boost, I think. Estime, obviously, as well. He's really built. I've seen him. He's a beast.
Telling you, man, he's got that six-pack. I love that six-pack. Like, I mean, that is a beast. He is just an animal. I just don't want him to thin up too much. He lost a lot of that bulk, but it turned to muscle. As long as he's still delivering hits and not receiving them, then I'm fine. Just don't cross that line with him. That's the line where it's too far, where he is no longer the one delivering the blow, but receiving it. That's the threshold I don't want him to cross, because finding a guy with that unique mindset of delivering the hit as a running back instead of avoiding it or taking them is unique. Just don't lose that. Don't thin up too much.
Yeah. I think it makes a lot of sense for him to play. Because he's the bigger guy on the field. And most teams, like Alabama and all those teams, they usually have the bigger guys out there anyways, like playing. So I think it makes, you'd kind of be stupid to not play him. I have a lot of concerns, like a little bit about like the defense, kind of, because last year, I don't know if you noticed, but I've noticed that the defense wasn't really like tightening up. It seems like they were kind of too
loose at times. They were giving up some things we're not used to seeing. They gave up a bunch of very long touchdown drives right after we score, which is a statistical anomaly that we're not used to. Right after we score, and then they give up these back-breaking long drives. Getting off the field on third down was an issue. The run defense at times I didn't think was good enough. And that was before you lost 4 out of your 6 top tacklers on the defensive line. I didn't think it was good enough at times. That makes me nervous. The linebacker group was concerning all year. This year, I love Morrison, and I'm worried about safety. Anything else? I think I covered it all. Like, if you want to pick an area, I'm going to have a worry until I don't have a worry, and you beat the shit out of Ohio State, then I don't have to worry anymore. That's as fair as that can be.
And USC.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying I'm going to know by the time USC comes what we are, because I'm going to get that answer against Ohio State. And it is going to be Navy, Tennessee State, none of that action. When I'm going to start seeing what we have nationally, that's it. Ohio State's your first chance. We're going to find out, and I need us to hold up and win that ball game in the deep South Bend night.
Right. We got 3 games before Ohio State to get, warmed up.
Yeah.
Get to see.
Do you like that?
Defenses.
Do you think that'll help Notre Dame? Like last year, it was right away, week 1, you had to have it all figured out, and it took our offensive line a few weeks to gel. I feel like it'll help Notre Dame that they could kind of ease into this with reasonable opponents before that big matchup. Now, the argument against that would be, is there an argument that you'd be better off to face them early now that you have Hartman and they have the unknown quarterback? I've seen that. Would it be easier to do it that way? Because this gives their young quarterback a month to get into the season and adjust as well. So I don't know.
I think it kind of helps Notre Dame a lot because, again, last year, obviously that was their first game. So this year they have like warm up, easy games that they should win, like the Navy game. The
Tennessee State, CMU,
Michigan.
I think that NC State away game split in there before Ohio State. That's going to be a little tricky. I don't care what that one looks like. You just got to win it. Like that's one of those on the schedule. You just got to find a way to win it. I'm not going to complain about it. Win it, move on. The biggest part of all of the big 3 being the big 3, the biggest part of the Ohio State game being what it should be is, you got to be undefeated when you play them.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we could do it. I honestly think we could beat Ohio State. I don't know if you've seen that we're going to be wearing the green jerseys against Ohio State.
Yeah, my question is,
that helps a little.
Well, here's 2 things with that. One is, what shade green? I am interested. Not all greens are the same. I'd like to know what shade. And the other part is, it would be a lot more exciting and put a lot more energy into the stadium and the players if it was done the right way, the traditional way, not announced ad, but a surprise in the moment. The guys go out there in blue to warm up. When they come back in the locker room, those beautiful greens are waiting for them. They all lose their minds. They run out. We all lose our minds. And we have the emotional advantage against Ohio State right away. That is all ruined because now everybody knows you're wearing green. So they wanted to do it that way. I wouldn't have done it that way. It's bastardizing the tradition, and you're not getting the effect I wanted out of it doing it this way. I get it. It's the modern way to do it. Sell your merch, pitch your green jersey game, whatever. I would have preferred it the old way for maximum emotional output from the fans and the players. That's what I would have wanted. A la Bush Push. I don't know how old you are, but when I was there for Bush Push, and they ran out in the green, we all went nuts. I didn't know that was coming. We went nuts.
Yeah, I don't think I was born. I was born in 98. I just kind of.
How does it feel that all of your, how does it feel that all of your cognitive experience with Notre Dame football has pretty much been Brian Kelly? That's got to be kind of weird. I'm a lot older than you. I've seen more coaches, good and bad and in the middle and horrible, and all their personalities and how the media engage with them and all that. You pretty much like, it's Kelly. It's been all Kelly. Is that weird? I feel like it would be.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
dude.
really weird. I kind of wish I would have grew up in your era.
I mean,
like,
it's been rough.
Coaches,
like still, I'm missing the prime era too, though. Because I was 4 when we won the championship. So I haven't really experienced what that's like. But I'm old enough to remember Willingham and the Davy nightmare and all the Charlie Weiss stuff. And like, and the O'Leary drama. Like, I remember all of this stuff, and it's just rough.
Yeah, it's definitely. I guess I grew up in a bad era because it had had some terrible coaches. Charlie Weiss was pretty terrible. Obviously, Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly wasn't, like I said, too bad. The only thing is that he didn't recruit. But I've never
That's a problem.
Never seen Notre Dame win a national championship like in my time.
Yeah, you and me
That's
both. You and me both. I'm a
where-
lot older than you, man, and I was only 4. That doesn't count. I need one I can remember and not just have my dad and grandparents tell me how cool it was when we were good. Like, like how fun that must be. I don't know. Hey, man, let me ask. Are you going to be going to Blue and Gold?
I'm going to try to go.
I see you got a 5.74, so I'm assuming it's somewhat close. If you want to go, look for me. I'll be around flying the flag. You'll find me.
Yeah, I'm actually in Granger, Indiana, so I'm not too far from there.
Beautiful, man. Well, I really appreciate the call. I want you to have a good weekend. And if you do go to the game, let me know.
Alrighty.
Have a good one, man. Thanks for calling.
All right, go Irish.
Yep, take care.
All right.
Here we go. 301. Let's have a little fun.
Hey, John, this is Michael Ursone. Finally get to call in and talk to you, man.
What's going on, man? It looks like you called late August. I have like a log on my little system here. Late August. It's been a while. What's going on, man?
You crack me up because, I have, there's 4 boys in my family, and the stuff you always say, I laugh because it's some of the same stuff we always say. And I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Friday before.
Wait, does that mean that we're all smart?
Familiar...
Are we all smart, or are we all in the same boat crazy? Like, I'm not sure whether this is good or bad.
I just think we're obsessive compulsive with our passion for Notre Dame football.
Well, there's no doubt about that.
Take it or leave it.
Yep.
In the movie Friday, though, there's the line where he says, Chris Tucker says, "Man, y'all ain't never got 2 things that match. Ham, no burger, Kool-Aid, no sugar, cereal, no milk." And it reminds me, I always use that analogy with Notre Dame football because the thing you always touch on is like going back to your point about Brian Mason. We finally get a guy, post Lou Holtz, who was good and passionate about coaching special teams, and then he bounces after a year.
Yeah. And then next you're going to say, and now the offense is trending up and we have these worries the defense is going to bounce back and you're worried about what special teams is going to be. How in the hell do we get everything trending up and peaking in the same year? That's the issue.
It doesn't just apply to the, I mean, it's all the way around. It's not just the players, it's the coaches as well. You can call me crazy, but let me tell you something. If you had Harry Hiestand as Weiss's offensive line coach, and you gave Weiss Mike Elko as his defensive coordinator, and just go down the line, if he had a better staff because he was not an experienced seasoned head coach, he would have done a lot better, right? But we could never. It doesn't matter who the coach has been. We cannot retain and keep great coaches, and we cannot build the depth of talent with regards to the players to make a serious run over the span of a few years. You get a Kyle Hamilton, but then you whiff for the next 3 to 5 years after that at the position.
Yeah. You're right. There has to be like a multiple year spread of overlapping and layering on this of both the high-end talent and your depth guys. But like, you're right. But that's how you end up like where Georgia ended up, having a bunch of years in a row with a top 3 class all over the place. That's how you do it. That's how you give yourself room for error. The ability to not be on your A game and win a decent, tough game. Like, all of that comes with layering and stacking that talent and depth. And you're right. Notre Dame's hit or miss, hit or miss, hit or miss, hit or miss.
Well, they retain their coaches as well. I mean, Dabo had that staff intact for quite a while leading up to his run of winning and competing for titles. And only in the last couple of years did he lose Franklin and then losing Skeletor, over to OU.
Yeah.
I mean, he largely kept the same staff. And from a continuity standpoint, if you're keeping staff that are good, that can recruit, teach, and develop, I mean, that's everything, Yeah. And it's just, so I laugh, man, because you crack me up when a lot of people don't touch on the things that you touch on in the comments. And I'm always surprised by the fact that people don't make more of a point of like, why can't we just get a good run of a couple years of the same damn staff, guys not freakishly getting hurt, falling down the stairs, how many guys have torn their fucking ACLs before they even get to Notre Dame? I could go down the list of highly rated guys who all tore their ACL right before they got there. I mean, James, the running back from Maryville, what was his name?
Aldridge.
James
Aldridge.
Yeah.
I remember him. Number 1 running back in the country, 5-star guy. Notre Dame got him, and the guy had injury, couldn't even run at all, couldn't even walk. It was just depressing, man.
Yeah,
he got so slow. It was like watching Tommy Reese run.
It's frustrating. There was a rehash from an old Pete Sampson when he was on, I think it was Blue and Gold, and he was talking about oh God, I'm drawing a blank on the little running back from Florida that was supposed to be a speedster. He was out of Hialeah, or however you say it.
Yeah.
Down in Miami. I don't know why I'm drawing.
I know. I'm picturing his face. I'm picturing his face right now. I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah.
Armando Allen. I think it was Armando Allen. And he's another one. His senior year, tore his ACL. And he had said that prior to that, he was one of the best running back recruits he had ever seen, period, It's just so frustrating, man, because we cannot get any sustained continuity.
Yeah, it's very hard. And that's a problem. That's how Kelly ended up trapped in a cycle where there was a glass ceiling on what he was able to do here, because the recruiting was so inconsistent that you never had everything trending good enough at the same time with enough depth. And then then you just get off kilter, and then you have a bad cycle in one group and here and there and this and that. That's how you end up in the spot the wide receiver room was in, where you had one guy committed in one class and everybody else was hurt. And then you end up in a bad spot, whatever. But it's hard at Notre Dame with the academics and everything. It's hard to stack those classes, but Notre Dame asked to.
I'll tell you, Kelly, I was a basketball guy, just for full disclosure. So I was a better than Rudy type, but not impact player at a Division II school in Maryland, where we went to the Final Four my senior year. And I was always more of a coach than a player. And I will tell you that the thing about Kelly is he's one of those old school coaches who believes that all of the assistants should be out. I mean, I'm just drawing conclusions from studying his patterns that, the assistants should be the guys out breaking their back, doing all the legwork with recruiting. And then he'll come in at the end and try to close. Right.
Yeah.
The problem is, like I do, that any leader, they take on the personality of the guy in charge. So Reeves and a lot of other guys got fat and happy and lazy with not having to bust their ass recruiting, because Kelly wasn't that way.
Yep.
And he wasn't going to put the pressure on them to go out and do it.
Yep. That's part of it.
So
100, I 100% agree with that dynamic that was in play. I do. It's obvious that was in play. It's just that what happened shows that was the dynamic. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So let me move this forward. Let me move this forward. I support Freeman because his work ethic is outstanding, and his message and the way he carries himself is a perfect representation of everything Notre Dame wants to be with a modern twist. That being said, I'm not saying the guy's perfect and doesn't need to get better at his craft. I am not saying last year was awesome. Freeman, you did everything right last year, dude. Like, both can be true at the same time. People need to open their minds. I'm supportive of the guy while saying he still has a lot of work to do. But I'm encouraged about what the way he's doing it. Am I that off base?
No, but I think that's because you think logically. I mean, you see his temperament.
Well, all
you
these
see his
people
charisma.
are saying I'm just a Freeman lover, and that's just ridiculous, and that I'm wrong, and I'm buying in, and he's a failure, and they already know he's not good enough. Like, I just don't know if these chatters are really trolling me just to get me worked up, or if they really believe it. I don't know. I don't know where it falls.
I think there's a couple of dynamics at play. The first is that I think a lot of people expected, Notre Dame to be able to attract a more proven, higher profile guy to replace a coach like Kelly and everything.
Who is it going to be, though? I didn't think that. I didn't. Freeman was my number one guy because who else were you going to go get? Luke Fickell doesn't excite me. Oh, I'm asleep. Luke Fickell's here. I'm asleep. Like, no. Luke Fickell's Brian Kelly 2.0. That's what Luke Fickell is. Brian Kelly 2.0. Really, really good, but he ain't going to excite me to get off the couch. Sorry. So who else were we going to get?
Yeah.
Who else is available that everybody would have loved? Urban, bring Urban back, grinding, having girls on his lap at the bar. Like, what are we doing? Who did people want that they would have been happy with if it wasn't Freeman? Who?
The delusion, right, is that we think we're the bride, but we're always the bridesmaid the last, 30 years? And, my brother always says that to me. My brother David, who also listens and comments sometimes in the chat, he always says that. And that Notre Dame is not the job it was when Holtz left. It just isn't. And I think there's so many factors at play. I used to tell people I would listen to different media outlets that cover all sports, right? And I would hear these comments from other people in college football, other head coaches, athletic directors, and a lot of people held Brian Kelly in very high regards. And I would say, how is he held in such high regards when this was the days of him always going 8-5. And I said, the guy goes, 7-5, loses a bowl game, right? Or 7-4, 7-5, always kind of slightly above average. Why is he held in such high regards? And then it started to dawn on me that, basically everybody knows the hamstrings that the college and university put on you with regards to an infrastructure, of recruiting student athletes that you cannot, like for example, those guys I went to school with, they were all a lot of like DMV area guys that went Division I that got in trouble and had to come down to Division II because back then Division I schools would not take you on a one-time with 1 year of eligibility left, and there was no transfer portal. And so a lot of those guys I went to school with would not have ever gone to a school when they were coming out as a highly rated basketball recruit in the DC and Baltimore area. They would have never gone to a school where you had to live with regular students in the dorms.
Yeah.
Like, these guys, or where you have to attend mass, or like a lot of these. So there's a lot of things at play where if you don't grow up in it like you and I did, and you maybe aren't Catholic and don't have high, it's going to always be very difficult to consistently attract and develop that elite depth of talent that you need. And I figured out, basically everybody knows he's doing a great job winning 10 games every year, beating the teams he should, losing to the teams he shouldn't beat from a talent perspective. And I just think that all those factors make it difficult for a lot of us to not be critical of everything that happens with that football program. And I think that's tying it all back. That's why a lot of people are very critical of Freeman, because they're hungry for a fucking winner, and they're hungry and ready to start bragging again and stop getting their balls broken in the street every damn year.
But you need to understand, but listen, everybody paying attention should have. I was not saying last year, oh, Freeman's here, he's just going to take what Kelly did, that level, and instantly raise it. Everybody's paying attention should have known that roster was not in a healthy enough spot to compete for anything any of us care about. And there was no way Freeman could come in or off the street and just snap his fingers and he's the head guy now, and all those problems of multiple years of mismanagement go away. I don't know what people thought last year was. The guy inherited a extremely flawed roster, even if it was healthy. That was always going to require some digging out. And I don't think that should surprise anybody. Now, digging out to me doesn't include losing to Marshall and Stanford. I mean, no, that's bad. But you were an idiot if you thought that this guy was going to get the job and just go straight up from where Kelly did. When you looked at the roster, you should have known that was never going to be possible. Not even physically possible.
I think you understand. I don't know if you have a background in athletics, but I think your perspective with the point you just made shows that you at least understand.
I have a background in logical thinking and knowing what's going on. Right. Like, how could you you look at that wide receiver room last year, Kelly left, and go, oh, Freeman's in here, I expect him to go undefeated. What is in the wide receiver room? One guy that can walk, 4 guys that are injured, and nobody else. Good luck. Like, no, it was going to be hard. And you know what else? Here's the other part that gets me. You know who else knew last year was going to be a challenge personnel-wise? Brian freaking Kelly. He knew the messes he created. He knew the messes he created and what he let the other staff members do, not recruiting. He knew it all, and he skipped town when he knew it was all going to come home to roost. Once that other class, all those guys left, he knew the quarterback room was bad. He knew the wide receiver room, and he wasn't sticking around for it. I give him credit for it. He created the problem, but at least he left and not dealt with it.
He did the Urban Meyer at Florida. Soon as he lost Tim Tebow and Cam Newton got thrown out of school, his ass was out of there as fast as he could be without having to face the music of the fact that he, had, even though he recruited well there, he was not going to be, he was not going to have the same type of team and talent, especially because the quarterback was going to have such a drop off at that position. So he got out of there as fast as he could.
Listen,
I
don't, dude.
It's a cowardly move.
I'm saying this, and I got multiple people saying, "Oh, now you're blaming Kelly." You people are idiots. If you think, how could you think that the guy recruiting all the talent that was going to play last year isn't a part of how the year played out? You are lying to yourself, or you don't understand football. The way these people are talking, they're acting like the day Freeman took over, it was a clean slate, and everything that happened last year is what Freeman set up and Freeman's doing. They're all ignoring that he had to play with the flawed, bad roster at key spots last year. That doesn't mean it's okay to lose to Marshall. It's okay to lose to Stanford. No, that's not okay either. But you are not being truthful when you say Kelly's mismanagement of the roster that became Freeman's problem last year wasn't a part of the struggles. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. That talent Freeman had to deal with last year, or not deal with when there wasn't enough, was related to Kelly. Freeman couldn't change that year 1. Now, when we get into year 2 and year 3, I'm not going to yell at Kelly about that because Freeman will have more of his guys in there to judge. I don't get what is hard about this concept.
Hey, you know what's funny? You're defending your points on thinking rationally and logically when it comes to a team and athletics that you're passionate about, but they're still not exempt from us getting frustrated and angered with the way they do things or the success on the field. And so I think that's what's lost, is that you can think rationally about things and look at them objectively when you're evaluating either a coach or a player or the team and or their performance, but at the same time still be pissed off and expect more.
Like, why can't it's not
concurrently.
Life is lived in the gray area. Life is lived in the nuance. Okay. And when I look at this, both are true. Kelly didn't do a very good job recruiting and development and depth and all that enough. And that was a struggle last year. And I am excited about Freeman's potential, but he needs to get better. Nobody's saying Freeman's a finished product. I don't know why people are acting like I'm saying everything he did is fine. Don't change anything. He's got to get a lot better at a lot of things, but I like the way he does business.
Well, sad to say, I'm not going to make it out there. I haven't been out for a spring game in quite a while, and it's I would love to get out there to see you. I actually got to tell you, I had stopped coming out. I used to come out at least once or twice a year for games, and I hope to get back out there. It's been a while, but hopefully when I do, get my ass back out there, I'd love to catch up with you. I mean, my brother and I used to go out to games together. So we always said if we came out there, we'd love to buy you a beer, and catch up with you, man, because you're a lot like us with regards to the
well, I'm sorry.
The passion. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry for all the wives involved here and all the innocent bystanders. But
believe me, I've been relegated to the upstairs theater room in my house when the games come on, and close the door, and I don't want to hear any of that craziness. So that's my game days,
But hey, man, listen, I really appreciate the kind words, and you guys listening. Let me know if you're going to be around Chicago as well. If you're ever in Chicago for anything, that's my area. We could do that too. So just let me know, man. But thanks for the call. Good reconnecting with you. Stay in touch whenever you can. All right.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Have a great weekend.
Have a good one. Oh no. Cousin Luke said, my kid hates John's voice. You have a kid? This is concerning to me. I hope you don't take such short-sighted views with your kid as you do here. Oh, man. They did like always annoyed, though. I need to kick that back up. I'm mad at petty things again. All right, I hate to say this, guys. I got a bunch more calls, but I got to go. I didn't even get to the stuff on my notes because this just has a life of its own. The best part about doing these shows is they have a mind of their own and they just kind of go off. I didn't even get to the main stuff I was going to yell at just because of all this. But here's how we're going to end. This is perfect. We're going to end it on this. It's perfect. Newt Rockney, resident troll, one of them, says, hey, John, right at the time Freeman crashes and burns, Tommy Reese will be ready to go. That is perfect. That's how we're ending the show. It is perfect. Rockney, I give you credit for that. We went full circle and came all the way back to the point where Freeman burns and then Tommy learns under Saban and he comes in here and we got Nick Saban Jr. looking like Tommy Reese. Beautiful. All right, guys, that's going to be it. This was a lot of energy. Sorry I can't go longer, but here's what I'm going to have to do now. I'm going to record a couple things on what I want to yell at. Maybe I'll put it out over the weekend because I just didn't get to it. We just had a life of our own. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Thanks for the chats. Thanks for the donations. Thanks for the calls. Even the trolls. Thank you for being here. Unblock Pat. It isn't as much fun. Go back and forth with him. And a reminder, blue and gold game, always Irish party. Be there or be square. We are not Marshall. John has to go DoorDash. Well, not quite. not quite. But I do have some things to take care of. Have a good weekend. We'll see you.